Today we will see episode 3 of The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, and now after a few days the condition inside Rintaro and Osami's class has become terrible because the AC of their class is not working. Osami says let's go to the faculty and get the AC turned on, and while going towards the faculty Osami says to Rintaro that I need something that gives me fun, otherwise I cannot endure all this anymore. Suddenly an idea comes into Osami's mind and Osami excitedly says to Inaru that this month there is also a sports festival, so why don't we participate in it and win, and by doing that we will really enjoy a lot. And then after going to the faculty they meet Tuska, and Tuska clearly says that both of them cannot participate in the sports festival. Hearing this Osami gets a huge shock and asks why can't we both participate in the sports festival. Tuska says that whichever student fails in the midterm exam will have to withdraw his name from the sports festival. Osami says but even we don't know whether we will fail this time or not. Tuska says then this means that you can also pass this time. Osami says for us to pass is impossible, but at least you can give us some reward for our hard work. Hearing this Tuska thinks for a while, and then says if you guys win the sports festival then I will treat you with ice cream. Hearing this Osami becomes very happy. But after going back to the class Osami is now going crazy with tension because to win the sports festival they will have to pass the midterm exam. But even hearing the name of midterm exam Osami's condition becomes terrible. And then Osami requests Saku to teach them, but Saku clearly refuses to teach him because last year also Saku taught Rintaro and Osami, but both of them still failed. After that Osami angrily says to Saku, I understand that you don't want us to participate in the sports festival, so fine, we also don't need you. Saying this a lot of tension happens between Saku and Osami, and both of them start arguing with each other, and just then Rintaro gets a message from his mother. His mom has said that today is discount day, and she wants Rintaro to invite Vaguri for it as well. After thinking for a while Rintaro finally invites Vaguri, but Vaguri refuses to come, and says that she is very busy due to which she cannot come to the shop. And because Vaguri is not coming to the shop Rintaro doesn't feel good, but then thinks why am I even feeling disappointed because of this. And then Osami says we need to go to the library, and Osami takes Rintaro to a library outside the school. And after studying there for a while both of them are not able to understand anything written inside the book. Rintaro says it looks like we should ask Saku for help because last year only he was the one who helped us. But Osami says last year he really helped us a lot, but even then we still failed, and because of that I still feel very bad. Then Rintaro explains to Osami that Saku actually wants to help us, and he too is interested in the sports day, but he just doesn't want to accept it. Hearing this Osami gets a little surprised and says, are you really Rintaro? Rintaro says what difference does it make, we just have to focus on winning, and then Osami goes to convince Saku and says I am interested in the sports festival because you will also be there, and now I will go and bring him quickly. And then Rintaro sits alone here and starts studying, and just then two little girls come here who do not get any seat to sit. Seeing them Rintaro vacates his own seat for them and leaves, and those girls also notice this and say to each other that he gave us his seat, and we didn't even get a chance to thank him. And then when Rintaro is leaving the library he feels like he is hearing Vaguri's voice and sees that Vaguri is studying here with her friend. Listening to their talks Rintaro notices that Vaguri is talking very relaxed with her friend, and from their talks Rintaro also comes to know that Vaguri tops her class. Hearing this Rintaro becomes very impressed with Vaguri, and after coming out of the library he starts thinking about Vaguri, that she is really an amazing girl because even in a school like Kyoka she is a top student. And here I am who is at the bottom even of an idiot school. And then Rintaro closes his eyes and lies down on a bench, and when he opens his eyes he sees that Vaguri is standing in front of him. Seeing Vaguri here Rintaro gets a little shocked, and says I thought you were studying inside. Vaguri says I thought it was you, it's been a long time since we met, and when I was studying inside I thought it was you who passed by the glass. Then Rintaro moves aside and Vaguri sits and says you invited me, but even then I won't be able to come to your shop on discount day, and for that I want to say sorry to you. Rintaro says this is not such a big deal, and anyway every month the shop has one discount day. Vaguri says then next month I will definitely come to the shop, and will save a little money from my part-time job. Hearing this, Rintaro gets surprised and says, you are rich, but still you are doing a part-time job. Hearing this, Vaguri starts laughing and says, what do you even think about me? I have got a scholarship in Kyoka school, because of which I always have to bring good grades, and anyway I always come in first place, and when I started studying in Kyoka school that time, I felt a lot of pride inside me. Hearing all this, Rintaro realizes how wrong his perspective about Vaguri was, because he was judging her as just a rich girl, and Rintaro himself really hates people who judge others without even knowing them. After thinking all this, Rintaro feels very bad and asks Vaguri, can you help me a little in studies, because if I fail in midterms, then I will get into big trouble, and anyway only if you have time then you can help me. Vaguri says, if I will have time, then I will definitely tell you, and let's both give our best together. And then both of them continue their conversation like this, and after a while Vaguri says, now I should go back because my friend will be returning from the shop soon. But Vaguri's friend is watching Vaguri talking to Rintaro, and says, Vaguri, who is this person? Just then Rintaro notices that this girl has silver-colored hair, and thinks, could it be that she is a foreigner, and right now she looks very cool. But as soon as Subaru notices Rintaro, she becomes very irritated and says, looks like you are from Chidori, so I would appreciate if you don't even show yourself around Vaguri, because I don't want anyone from Chidori to come near Vaguri. And then Vaguri tries to calm down Subaru. And just then Rintaro's friends also come here, and as soon as they notice that near Rintaro are two girls from Kyoka school, Osami and Saku, also get very irritated. Then they come near the girls and Osami says, what work do you have with Rintaro? Because I don't think Rintaro himself would start talking with girls of Kyoka school. Subaru says to Vaguri, we should leave from here because there is no need to waste time with these wild people. But then Osami comes near Vaguri and says, I think I have seen you somewhere before. But suddenly Subaru tells Osami to stay back, and Rintaro also stops Osami. Osami says, Rintaro, what are you doing? I was just talking. And then Subaru starts leaving from there with Vaguri, but Saku says, have you so quickly forgotten the question we just asked you? Looks like Kyoka school girls are much more stupid than I thought. Subaru, a little irritated, says, are you talking about that thing? Saku says to know that you will have to use your brain, but it seems you even lack that, and by the way, why is your hair color like this, and is this even allowed in Kyoka school? And looks like you can do whatever you want because you are the daughter of some rich father. Hearing Saku's words, Subaru feels very bad. But suddenly Rintaro stops Saku and says, Saku, stop it, because you are crossing the limit, and anyway you are not the kind of person who talks like this. Then Saku becomes silent and Rintaro further says, this is the same girl who was standing at our school gate that day, and today I saw her in the library, and I was just apologizing for scaring her that day, and I had started talking first. And then Ayato says in Osami's ear, that day it was you who scared this girl. Hearing this, Osami steps forward and apologizes to Vaguri for that day, but Vaguri also apologizes back to them because she feels that all this started because of her. Subaru stops Vaguri from apologizing, but Vaguri also tells Subaru to apologize. But Subaru starts leaving from here, and so Vaguri also goes with Subaru. And then after going inside the library, Subaru is still talking bad about Chidori school boys. But as soon as Subaru remembers that Rintaro stopped Saku, she suddenly stops at a place and asks Vaguri, what do you think about that blonde-haired boy? Vaguri says he is a very kind person. But hearing this, for some reason Subaru does not feel good. And now even after reaching home, Rintaro is still studying, but the things Saku had taught him Rintaro still cannot understand. And just then Vaguri's call comes and both of them talk about everything that happened today and sort everything out. After that, Vaguri says, Rintaro, whatever you did today was really cool, and thank you for protecting me. Hearing this, Rintaro feels very shy because before today no one had ever called him cool. But then Vaguri says, forgive me because these days I am talking with you a little too casually, and from now on I will take care of this. Rintaro asks, why do you talk to me so formally, Vaguri? Vaguri gets a little shy and says, because I am just a customer of your shop, and if I talk too casually with you then it will look a little strange. Hearing this, Rintaro doesn't feel good because now he feels like Vaguri has distanced him a lot from herself. And then Vaguri asks Rintaro to study together on Saturday, and Rintaro agrees to this. But suddenly Rintaro says, if you don't mind, then you can talk with me like I am your friend. Vaguri says, okay, from now on I will remember this. And after ending the conversation, Rintaro thinks, what did I even say? And at this time, he is feeling very embarrassed. But on the other side, Vaguri too is feeling very nervous right now. And here this episode ends.